Hi, welcome back to another episode of Positive Talks with Mary. I'm Mary McKay, and today we have another great topic, and we are going to be diving in on 3 reasons why God sometimes takes a long time to answer our prayers. And have you ever just been like praying for something and you just keep praying about it and you keep praying about it and you keep on and on and on, but it seems like nothing is happening? It just sort of seems like God may be ignoring you, that it takes forever for your prayer to be answered. And I know I have been in this situation before a couple of times, and it can be really frustrating, honestly. And after you continuously pray for something over and over and you don't really ever see that prayer come to life, it can be frustrating. It can sometimes make you a little bit angry and also a little bit hopeless too. And this sort of reminds me of the story in Genesis about Isaac pleading and begging God to help his wife Rebecca get pregnant. And it says in Genesis 25:21, Isaac pleaded with the Lord on behalf of his wife because she was unable to have children. The Lord answered Isaac's prayer, and Rebecca became pregnant with twins. But see, it says before that Isaac was 40 years old when he got married, and he was 60 years old when the twins were born. That is 20 years of pleading and begging for God to help. And in the end, like I said, Rebecca did get pregnant and God did answer his prayers. But I mean, Isaac wrestled back and forth for 20 years just begging and hoping that God would intervene, that God would come into the situation and help him. But I'm sure for Isaac, that it wasn't easy for him. I'm sure that he was frustrated. I'm sure that he was getting angry. I'm sure that he was beginning to lose faith after so much time went on and he wasn't seeing anything. But he kept on believing and he kept praying. And sometimes it does take a long time for prayers to be answered, but God still hears your prayers. It's just maybe not the right time yet. But like the Bible says in Isaiah 60:22, at the right time, I, the Lord, will make it happen. And this could not be more true. The Lord is going to work and he is going to answer your prayers when it is the right time. And you might be wondering, like, why does God withhold his answers sometime? And here are 3 reasons why God might be withholding his answers to your prayers. And the first one is God has something better than what you are asking. And this is one of my favorite reasons on why God says no, because we often forget that he might have something better for us in store. And we always need to remember that God knows what is best for us, and only he knows, not what you think is best for your life. And most of the time, I think we sort of set ourselves up for failure thinking we know the best plan for our life, but only God does. God does not want us to settle. So sometimes he has to say no. Sometimes he has to close the door because he has something that is better planned for our lives, better than we ever thought possible. And the Bible says that he can do immeasurably more than all that we can ask or imagine. So with that being said, trust his timing, trust his no's, and it'll all work out in due time just like it should. And we are moving on to the second reason on why God sometimes withholds our prayers. And that might be to allow us to mature in our faith so that we can use his blessings and we can use his gifts more wisely. And sometimes we are just not yet ready for what God has in store. We may be lacking in faith. We may be lacking in courage and wisdom, and we might be lacking in obedience. To ask for something in prayer is not to be like, okay, God, I know you're going to do this, but instead it's asking, but also asking for God's will to be done, because sometimes God's will for our life is different than the will and the plan that we have for our own life. Because like I said before, God's plan is different sometimes than the plan we have for ourselves. And sometimes God just can't work in your life yet because he wants to get closer to you. He wants to have that personal relationship with you. So when that thing that you have been praying for happens, you know that it came from God. And you are ready for what God has been waiting on for your life. And also, moving on to the third one, to help us appreciate his answer better. Just imagine how Isaac and Rebecca appreciated getting pregnant after having no luck for 20 years. I'm sure they were just like over the moon excited. They were just so beyond grateful and appreciative of finally being able to get pregnant. I mean, they prayed and begged God for 20 years. 20 years? I mean, that's just a little bit younger than I am. And I mean, I couldn't imagine praying for something for 20 years. I get frustrated after just like a couple of months, but for 20 years, wow. That is awesome. Like, I just can't imagine like how excited that they were and how thankful and blessed that they were. And in my own life, I have been praying for something in my job for quite a while now. I would say for at least 6 months to a year, I have been continuously praying for something, sort of like a promotion. And I just kept praying for it, and I kept praying for it, and I would times where I would just sort of be discouraged, like, okay, this just like isn't going to happen. Do I start looking for another job so I can move on and grow in my career, or do I wait here? And the other day, I was talking to my mom about this and my job and what I should do. And I told her, I was just like, Mom, I'm really getting discouraged here. I don't feel like I'm growing anymore. I've been praying for this, and like, it just doesn't seem to be happening. And I was just like, I don't know what to do. And my mom and I prayed about that situation together. And then about 2 days later, it was a Friday, I was leaving work to go home to start my weekend, and my boss asked me, did I have a minute to talk? And I was just automatically thinking the worst, like, just going through my head all the possible things that I could have done wrong that I might be getting in trouble for. So I was preparing for the worst, but turns out like God answered my prayers right then and there, because what I had been praying for, my boss asked me if that was what I wanted to do, and he offered me the position, the promotion, like whatever you want to call it. And I just felt so overwhelmed, like just so excited. I was taken back because I mean, I honestly just like could not believe that it was happening. And I was just like, I have been praying about this for so long, and it hadn't even been 20 years, and I was getting frustrated, like I was getting sad, like why isn't this happening? Like, what am I doing? Why isn't this happening? I keep doing everything that I should job-wise, like, why am I not getting there? And, I finally put it in God's hands, and I was like, you know what? If this is part of God's will for my life, there is nothing that's going to stop it. And if it's not, then He has something better in store for me. And God did answer my prayer, and He did intervene. So I guess that just goes to show, that like, just keep praying for it and keep believing. And even if it seems like it's taking a long time and you're getting frustrated and maybe you're getting sad and angry, just keep praying about it and keep trusting and just ask for God's will to be done. Because even if it doesn't happen, whatever you're praying about, that's okay, because something better is going to come along. Something better is going to happen. And if you believe and trust in that, then you're going to be perfectly fine, and your life is going to be fine. Like, there's nothing to worry about. But I do understand that like you do want some things to happen. But yeah, I think this is it for today. And I really hope that this video has encouraged you. Just because, like what I've been talking about, that sometimes the waiting process is hard and you want things immediately. I mean, we sort of live in a time period where we have like immediate satisfactions on things. And so when we actually have to wait on things, it's a little bit out of our comfort zone. It's a little unusual for us, and that it can be difficult and it can be hard, but the waiting period can turn into something better than you ever thought possible. So just keep on praying, keep the faith going, and just let God do what He has to do. And when the time is right, He's going to make it happen. And I know that without a doubt. And you just remember that and always keep that in your mind, and everything will work out in due time, but on my video that I posted on last Thursday, I talked about being a Proverbs 31 woman and what that means. And I think that Proverbs 31 is just a great example of how a woman should be, how a God-fearing woman should live, and just an example for us to strive to be like. And, you know, it's honestly sort of intimidating reading Proverbs 31. I was intimidated when I read it, and I was like, wow, I don't know if I can ever possibly live up to this. But I think it's a great example of something that we should always strive to be, and to always try to be our best possible self. So if you haven't read Proverbs 31, make sure to check that out in the Bible, but also watch my video, and I'll link it down in the description below. Also, please like and subscribe. Please subscribe to this channel and press the bell button so you will be notified on all the videos that are coming out, so you'll never miss one. And also share this video on social media. I would greatly appreciate that, just so that we can get the word out on some of the things that we're doing here, and maybe it can motivate and encourage somebody else. You never know who might need this. Also, comment below. I would love to hear your things that you've maybe been waiting on in your life, and if God has answered them, or how you deal with the waiting process. I would love to hear from you and just to connect with you. And also, if you're on Instagram, please make sure to follow my Instagram page. It's just Positive Talks with Mary. And for the past couple of months, I've been saying that, I'm getting better on posting on my Instagram. But I gotta say, this past week has been my best week yet posting on my Instagram. I think I've done 4 posts maybe this week. I don't know. I can't remember, but it's so much better than previously. So make sure to follow. And yeah, I'll see you back here on Thursday with another video.